Hello everyone, what a year of footy it's been in AFL season 2025, and I am very lucky to have the opportunity to present to you my top 5 games of the year for AFL season 2025. This is Aiden Barry, and let's get straight into my top 5 games of season 2025. So my first game on the list for season 2025 comes from North Melbourne versus Brisbane in round 9. This was the lone draw of this season, and we will go through the results. We will bring them up and we will follow this game as we go through it. So first quarter, Brisbane very opportunistic. 2-3 for Brisbane in that first quarter. 1 goal only for North Melbourne. Then we start to see the game open up a little bit here for the Lions. They go 6-4-40 at half-time, North Melbourne 32-20, so double the score across the board there for Brisbane. Third quarter though, North Melbourne, they start to come back into the game, and this is where North Melbourne, I think, really lit that fuse and flipped that switch that carried them through the middle and the back half of the season this year. They have this really dominant quarter for the third quarter here, which is where they go to 6-6-42 and limit Brisbane to 1-5. So Brisbane ending that third quarter 7-9-51. Then at the end of the game, it is both teams all square on 10-11-71. Unfortunately, for some reason, the 71 didn't come in for Brisbane there, but 10-11 is 71 both ways. It was North Melbourne, Cam Zerha kicking the key behind at the end of the fourth quarter to get the draw over the line, and we are going to do a little Brownlow voting here myself. So my 1 vote for this game goes to Luke Parker, North Melbourne. 2 votes go to Hugh McCluggage, Brisbane, and 3 votes to Dane Zorko, Brisbane. We now move to my next game on the top 5. This game is my number 4 pick, and it is from round 4, and it is Adelaide going up to Carrara Stadium to play the Gold Coast, and this was a controversial game. The finish scores are coming up for you now. We have Gold Coast first quarter 3-5-23, Adelaide 2-4-16. Gold Coast just throwing that advantage at home in the opening quarter. Second quarter game pretty even. Adelaide 4 straight in that quarter at 6-4-40 at half time. Gold Coast very wayward with their accuracy. Gold Coast 5-9-39. That could have been game over in that quarter if Gold Coast had kicked accurately. Second half, third quarter, Gold Coast go in 10-11-71, Adelaide 10-5, 65 at 3-quarter time before the final change. And then in the final quarter, it is Gold Coast winning 13-13, 91. Adelaide lose by a point. They have more goals on the board. They lose by a point, 14-8, 90. And this was a real controversial end to this one, with Max Andrew seemingly knocking away a ball from Rankin illegally with both an illegal knockout and a chop of the arm. Neither of those calls given there should have been a mark or a chop of the arm to Rankin in those final minutes of the game. Neither of those calls were given to Rankin and Adelaide. At that point, the AFL then had to come out and put out a memo saying that either the mark was clear or there was a chop of the arms, one or the other. You had to call that for the favour of Isaac Rankin. They didn't. Crows lose this one by a point. We'll do my 3-2-1 for this game. So my 1 vote is going to go to Adelaide Stilthorpe with his 5-goal performance. 2 votes go to Gold Coast, D. Rioli, and 3 votes Adelaide, J. Dawson. We now move on in the countdown to my 3rd rated game of the season. And it was from round 1, Richmond versus Carlton. The very young Tigers, very interested in what this season could have produced for them, with a lot of young talent on that board. Playing against Carlton, a team hopeful to make the top 8 at this point in the year. Round 1, everyone is early doors and in play. But it was somewhat of a shock in this one. We go to the first quarter. Richmond 1-1-7 at quarter time. Carlton 5-4-34. That's pretty much where we expected it to be. That was what we thought would happen. Game over. Carlton's up by a 4-goal quarter time, and we move on and we go home. But no. Second quarter, Richmond ending 4-1-25. Carlton end that second quarter 7-8. 50. So Richmond have found a door back into this game. They are still there. After the break, everything changes for the Tigers and the ball starts going their way. It bounces heavy for the Tigers. Richmond at 3-quarter time, 9-3, 57. Carlton 8-9, 57. So only 1 goal won to that 5-goal term for the Tigers. Then in the final quarter, it is Richmond, again just running over the top of this game. They finish this one 13-4-82. Carlton, a very wasteful, a very lackluster 9-15-69. And that is probably the least nice 69 we will ever see. For my 3 votes for this game. 1 vote, Carlton P. Cripp. 2 vote, Richmond T. Nankervis. 3 vote, Richmond J. Ross. Now we move into my second rated season, and it is now we move towards the back end of the year. In round 20, we have the greatest comeback of all time as the last game of the round on a Sunday afternoon between St Kilda and Melbourne. Here are the scores. First quarter, St Kilda 2-1-13, Melbourne 6-2-38. Melbourne very much in command of this game early. They looked very strong at this point. Second quarter, St Kilda 2 goals again for them. They go to 4-4-28. Melbourne 3 goals again, winning the quarter, just edging out the quarter. Still a win. The gap improves to 30 points for Melbourne at half time. 9-4-58 played 4-4-28 for Melbourne. We go into the second half. St Kilda, another 2-goal quarter, 6-4-40 for St Kilda at the third break. Melbourne, a very dominant quarter, 13-8-86. This game is pretty much done at this point. But we have 4 quarters in the AFL, and that is the greatness of the 4 quarters on display here. Final quarter in this one. St Kilda kicked 9-2 in the final quarter to Melbourne to 4 points. St Kilda finished 15-6-96. Melbourne 13-12-90. We go to the 3-2-1 for this one. This is, of course, the greatest comeback in the history of the AFL, being 8.5 goals down at, near 8 goal down at 3-quarter time, and coming back to win it in the last quarter with a 9-2 final quarter performance. So the 3 votes for this one. 1 vote, Melbourne, Jay Viney. 2 votes, St Kilda, Jay Sinclair. 3 votes, because he actually earned the 3 votes in this game, unlike what somebody else thought. St Kilda and Wangani Malera. 3 votes. And now my final countdown, my number 1 ranked game of the year. The scene, a Thursday night at the MCG. 2 old rivals going at it. We have Collingwood and Melbourne from the G as my number 1 ranked game from round 24. This was an absolute sit the kids down, sit the wife down, sit the dog down, bring the cats in, sit down, watch the footy type of game. This is what Friday night footy, Thursday night footy should be all about. Games like this. We do not want to see throwaway games between St Kilda and Essendon and Carlton, Richmond and Western Bulldogs. We do not want to see games where they are one-sided, blowouts at half-time on Thursday night, on Friday nights and on Saturday nights. This is what the primetime slot should be used for. These 2 teams took full advantage of the primetime opportunity to showcase what they could do. Let's get into the game. First quarter, Collingwood 2-7-19, Melbourne 3 straight 18. Collingwood could have had this game to bed by now, but wayward kicking cost them. Second quarter, a little bit better kicking from Collingwood. 4-4 in the quarter, going to 4 goal 3 in the quarter, going to 6-10-46. Melbourne 2-3 in the second quarter. They go to 5-3-33. Come out of half time. It is still anyone's game up for grabs here. Collingwood 1 goal 3 in the third quarter. They go and move along to 7-13-55. Melbourne, another good quarter, a very strong quarter from Melbourne. They go 5 goals in the quarter to 10-5-65. Melbourne have the lead at 3-quarter time. Then in the final quarter, because we are not done, this game goes all the way down to the wire, up and down all night. It is what you want to see from 2 teams as a neutral on this game. We have Collingwood winning this one in the end, 11-16-82. They kick 4-3 in the final quarter. Melbourne 11-10-76. They go 1-5 in the final quarter. And the 3-2-1s for this one. Melbourne C. Petraka 1 vote. Collingwood N. Dacos 2 votes. Melbourne M. Gorn 3 votes. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, my top 5 games for AFL season 2025. Thank you very, very much for listening. Quick recap: in the 5th spot was North Melbourne vs Brisbane, the draw in Tasmania. At spot number 4, Gold Coast vs Adelaide. Rankton should have had a free kick or a mark. Neither were given. Gold Coast sneak out the back door with a win there. Game number 3, the Young Tigers showing us what they can do against the Blues on the traditional and proper opening night. Game number 2, the Miracle at Marvel, as Nasiah Wanganeen-Malera steers the Saints to a 50-point comeback, and the number 1 rated game for the year, Friday Night Light, Collingwood vs Melbourne, the absolute epic that was to close out Friday night football for the home and away season. But this has been Aiden Barry for the BJ Show. Thank you very much for listening, and I will hope to see you all again soon.